Well, good evening. Man, I really enjoyed taking time with you guys last week. Uh, it just showed me that even when we're not able to get together in person, we're just being able to share an experience, for me to be able to share some of my thoughts and my relationship with God with you guys, and to hear a little bit of feedback. I got some encouragement from a few of you guys, and that made my day. And so I hope that these videos can be encouraging to you as well as we are spending time together, as we're taking time to worship together, as we're taking time to learn more about God together. These again, this is a crazy time, but there are some really awesome and really creative ways that we can still engage together. So look forward to these videos every Wednesday, and on Sunday, look forward to a video on Sundays as well. In fact, this last Sunday, I recorded just a devotional thought talking about Jesus when he went out on the ocean with his disciples, on the sea, sorry, with his disciples, and just the incredible experience they had when he calmed the storm. So if you haven't seen that video again, check it out. You can find it on my YouTube channel. You can also find it on our website, lufkincentral.com. We are going to be posting the Wednesday and Sunday video on there, and it's only going to be on there for a short while, but you can always find a link to our YouTube page, where you can find all these videos and keep up with them and check them out. And I'd love for you guys to engage in the comments, because during times like this, where we're not able, where our routines are changed up, during times like this, where fear and anxiety is just all over the place, where we're really not sure what the next day is going to look like. In fact, I honestly have no idea what this semester is going to look like. I don't know if you guys are going to be going back to school or not. And so I hope you guys are finding ways to engage your mind during time like this, and to get outside maybe a few times, even with the dangers around and what our nation is encouraging, and that you guys are able to find time to engage with others even, and whether that's in person with family, whether that is through times like this, or through some other things that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later during our announcements. Um, I also just want to encourage you to take time with God. I challenged you this last year, and I want to challenge you again. Take advantage of this experience. Take advantage of this opportunity. You, it's not very often that the entire nation shuts down. In fact, in my 30 years, I can't think of a single time that something like this has happened, and maybe in a lot of people's lives. And so take advantage of an opportunity like this and use it to find time each day to engage in your relationship with God. There's crazy stuff going, but there's some awesome ways that we can glorify God throughout this, and that we can even find some ways to find some comedy in that. And so, in the light of that, I wanted to share another of my favorite Corona memes of the week. You can let me know what you think about it. All right, check it out. So, I don't know if Star Trek is still funny and still relevant, but live long and prosper. Okay, all right. Surely that goes through generations, right? That's still something that's at least slightly relevant to you guys. Let me know, and I'll make sure to change up my meme humor. But I thought it was hilarious. I also want you to take a look at this next list, because as I'm challenging you guys to get out, as I'm challenging you guys to find ways to connect with others, and to engage your body in different ways throughout the day, like through exercise, through getting out, through changing up your routine just a little bit, because it can be easy to just be a couch Netflix potato, right? All right. And so I'm going to challenge you with this next list. Check it out. And I just want you to pick a few items from this list and actually do it this week, all right? And then let me know. Send a picture on social media. Stick a comment down below on this video, and just let us know how that activity went. If you picked something like going outside, what did you do? If you picked something around the house to bless your family, how did that go? How did that experience change the way that maybe you view the things that your parents do for you on a daily basis? All right, so take a look at that activity list one more time, just real briefly here, and just pick one, two, pick a few things off that list, and then go and do it. All right, use this opportunity to engage in new things. In fact, I went ahead and did something like that yesterday. I went outside and I did some landscaping, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, and I've been working on it for actually a couple weeks. But I've come to almost the finished product. I still need to fill in a few areas with some flowers, but take a look. Um, it's just my humble but hard work, but it feels good and it looks good, right? So feel free to add any encouraging comments down below to tell me about how awesome of a gardener and landscaper I am. Feels pretty good. It feels pretty good, and it looks really good, and I'm really happy about it. And I think it's definitely been a blessing to my wife as well. So find those ways that you can be a blessing to other people. Um, the next thing that we're going to jump into, I want you guys to check out this video. This is just, these guys are hilarious. They are just fantastic. I love them, and everything that they put out is just really thought-provoking, but also really comedic. And so just enjoy, watch it, and have a laugh, because these guys are talented. All right, check it out.
Tommy and Eddie, the skit guys, here to help you to conquer your fear with 5 tips.
That's right. Number 5, acknowledge your fear. Write it down, get it out there.
Oh, do that, Tommy, do that. That's a great idea, okay? Here's the thing, when you write down your fear, it kind of helps just squelch the fear. Tommy is going to show you right now that we all have this in common. We all have fears. This is Tommy's #1 fear.
This is my #1 fear. I've seen it happen to people, and it's tragic. I can't imagine what it would be like to...
Really?
So much skin.
Number 4, realize that most of your fears don't even come true.
Yours did.
This isn't a fear.
Looks like it should have been.
When it comes to those fears, they don't really ever come true. Like, some people have a fear of garden gnomes coming alive in the middle of the night and destroying you.
What?
Yes, a bunch of people fear that.
I don't think so.
It's a legitimate fear.
Those little statues in people's yards.
Those evil statues in people's yards.
Oh, this is your fear. You're afraid of... You're afraid of garden gnomes.
I'm not.
Yes,
no,
you
I'm
are.
not. I'm not.
Look
Not
at
me.
you.
No. Okay. Moving on. Number 3, do the thing you fear.
Yes. Like, stay the night in a yard filled with garden gnomes. No, it really is a good idea to do what you fear. In fact, Winston Churchill said, do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain.
No, Winston Churchill didn't say that. Emerson said that.
What?
Ralph Waldo Emerson said, do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain.
How do you gnome that?
Well, I had a college class on, and there was a, did you just say, how do I gnome that?
Yep.
Okay, you know what I'm curious about? I'm curious what it would look like if I shaved your head.
That's not funny.
I'm not laughing.
Number 2, be curious.
Yeah, because when you're curious, you're not focusing on your fear. You're squelching your fear. You're opening the door for God's wonder. Curiosity does that.
Yeah, and you'll also find that curiosity did not kill the cat. It was that creepy kid across the street. There's someone to be afraid of.
You don't even be afraid of him. Because the #1 way to conquer your fear is to trust in God. The Bible says in 2 Timothy 1:7, for the Spirit of the Lord is not of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind.
Yep. In fact, I got you a little keepsake to help you remember that.
Thanks, buddy. That's what I like about this guy. He's always thinking of other people. So there you have it, friends. Go out there. Conquer your fear. Make that bucket list of things that you want to do and know that God is on your side, because there is no thing that you have to be afraid of.
Oh my gosh. See, those guys are ridiculous and hilarious. And you know what? But also, I can totally understand his fear of baldness. I mean, with incredible hair like this, who isn't afraid of going bald? Jason Hollinger. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. We're about to jump into some of the more serious side of our conversation today. But I want to start off just giving some announcements. So a few things just to make sure that you guys are staying connected, because there's there are a lot of ways to stay connected, and I don't want you to miss out. So first off, every day, Instagram and Facebook, I'm going to try and get something on there. Just might be a simple, encouraging quote or conversation or verse, just something to get you refocused on what might really matter, and to try and help you overcome some of the fear and anxiety, or maybe even loneliness that you might be feeling throughout this. So that's on Instagram, and also our central youth group Facebook group. And there will be ways that you can, down below in the comments and the description, I'll give you links to be able to connect to those. Otherwise, you can stay connected through these videos. Every Wednesday night at 6 and every Sunday morning at 9:30. It's Sunday morning at 10 a.m. actually. We're going to have those videos live here on YouTube, but also on our website. And so go ahead, again, I'll have the link to our website down below in the comments. And on our website, we'll try and have a link here to our YouTube page as well. Finally, something that I would love to connect with you guys on, and this would allow us to have some video chat going, and just be able to stay more in tune with each other's lives. I would love to connect with you guys through an app called Marco Polo. It's a really simple app. It's one that my wife uses just about every single day, and it's just a really easy way. You record a quick video, about 30 seconds, a minute, however long you want it to be, and then you can send it to this person or even to a group, and they can view it on their own time and respond, and give you a response to that, and little just encouragements. And so that's going to be a group that I'm going to invite you guys to join me to. Again, I do want this open to just our youth group. I hope more than our youth group is able to really engage in these videos, but I want our group to be a safe place where we can come together and that we can share what's going on in our life, and that we can pray for each other. And so that's our teens and adult volunteers that I want to invite to be a part of that group with us. So again, I'm going to encourage you to download the Marco Polo app, and I'll be sending out a link for you to be able to join our conversation on Marco Polo. So look forward to being a part of that as well. Man, we're going to jump into a time of silence. We like to have a minute of silence every time that we get together on Wednesdays, just to recenter and to refocus and take some time to really focus our conversation with God. And I hope that that's something that you have. If you need to even step away and go to a different room to have that time of silence, I encourage you to take that minute, because it's powerful and it's encouraging. It's a good opportunity. Immediately following that silence, we're going to jump into our lesson and our video for the day. And that's going to be led by this guy that I really, really enjoyed listening to. I really enjoyed his thoughts and ideas. Last week we talked a little bit about your kingdom come, your will be done, that prayer that's found in Matthew. And he jumps into that same idea, this idea of kingdom life, and what it looks like to be invited to be a part of God's kingdom here on earth. And there are some really powerful and really incredible ideas in there. And so I hope that you really pay attention after that minute of silence and take some stuff in. And if you need to rewind at any point, feel free to go ahead and do that, because there's some really good stuff in there that you can get. So let's go ahead and take our minute of silence, and then we'll jump straight into our video. Thanks.
you remember in kindergarten when you got to do like show and tell? Like you got to bring your most prized possession to school, like that thing that you love the most. Now imagine today I got to tell you, hey, we're doing show and tell. I want you to bring your most prized possession. If you're like me, you might bring like your AirPods to there, like, or whatever like Bluetooth headset you use, you'd bring that and be like, I could not live without those. Or you might even bring like your Xbox or PS4 or whatever it is you play on. You might be like, I could not live without that. Or it might be your phone, or it might even be like your like laptop, whatever you use, that would be your most prized possession. Like whatever it was a gift and you could not live life without it. For me, it's this little wavy man. Like, look at this guy. That's my most prized possession. Look at him. Yeah. I like to show that off. I don't know why. He makes me happy. So, but here's what I love about this. In the Genesis story, we see God do his own little show and tell. He's like showing off his most prized creation, his most prized possession. We see that in the beginning, God creates the earth. And every time he creates something new, he calls it good, right? Every act of creation, it was good. And good is not a quality statement, it's an identity statement. Its identity was good. And the very last thing he creates, like this is the finale of it all, like this is what he saved the best for last. He calls it very good. And his most prized possession was you. It was humankind. He called it very good. That's right, mankind was the finale of all creation. And what I love about this story is God is inviting humanity into this thing that he's creating. It's his kingdom. And he doesn't just invite them into it, he makes them co-rulers of it. He gives them authority over it. Now when we think of rulers and authorities and people that have like submission over things, we think of like kind of like dictators and people that make laws and rules, and that's what we think of, but that's not what's happening in this story. See, the type of rulers that humanity becomes, they are collaborators with God. They are cultivators of life, and they are creators in this brand new world. Now, how many of you would love to live in a nation like that, where the rulership looked like creation and cultivation and collaboration? Me too. Like that would be awesome if like artists ruled the world. Like that's like my dream. But something happens, and if you've grown up in church long enough, you know what happens. Humanity decides that we're going to do life on our own terms. We're going to create the kingdom of God in our image. And so as God is like building castles, humanity settles for building sand castles. That's what we create out of all of this. What eventually happens is humanity, we used to have like this life with God, but we've become disconnected from God. It's like this phone, eventually it's going to die. That's where we find ourselves. We can see the effects of this everywhere. Like when we do life on our own terms, when we build our own kingdom, it's a tragedy. We're in a season of life where like a pandemic is causing pandemonium. Like people are buying toilet paper out the wazoo and they're selling Lysol wipes for $10,000. Like it's crazy today. We can see the effects of this sin-fallen nature everywhere. That when humanity tries to build sandcastles, it eventually crumbles. You don't have to be a follower of Jesus or even believe in God to know that this world is broken. But the story of God doesn't end there. It doesn't end with humanity in its fallen state, building sandcastles when God wants us to build real castles. In fact, today we're going to go to one of the most iconic verses of all time. In fact, out of 31,373 verses found in the Bible, we're going to these two verses that are going to pick up where that story leaves off. We're going to John chapter 3, 16 through 17. And I'm reading from the New Living Translation, but you can follow along in your own translation if you'd like, but it says this: "For this is how God loved the world. He gave his one and only Son, so that everyone who believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life. God sent his Son into the world, not to judge the world, but to save the world through him." This is the craziness of the God that we follow. that he loved the world right where it was. He didn't wait for it to get better. He didn't wait for them to get it right, because the truth is they couldn't. The world was broken, and there was no way we could put the pieces back together. There was no way we could undo the mistakes that we had made. So right off the bat, God loved the world. And that word loved, it's agape love. It means sacrificial and unconditional, meaning God would give everything to redeem that world. And without conditions, meaning there is nothing that you had to do to receive that love. There is nothing you could do to perform to get that love. It was given as a gift, the most prized possession we could ever possess.
Wow, those were some powerful thoughts and ideas. In fact, if you need to go back and rewatch that video, just go ahead and do that now. It was about a little over 6 minutes long, and there was some good stuff in there, some really good stuff. Some ideas and thoughts that we've talked about before. The verse, in fact, John 3:16 and 17 is a verse that I've talked with you guys about quite a bit. And I've talked about you quite a bit because it's a great verse, and so I can't think of too many times that we can take a look at that and really dive into what it means. But there is some good stuff in there, and it's something I had to watch a few times to really connect and think through what is he speaking here? What's the truth that God is speaking through him that I want to take in and take on for myself. So this is, in fact, like I told you, a 3-part series. So we're going to be watching the next 2 parts over the next 2 weeks. But we're going to focus on this video for today. And there's just a few things that I wanted to point out that were just really powerful ideas, really powerful messages that I want you guys to really start thinking and processing. This first part, and I'm going to ask a question about it a little bit later, but I want to get your mind thinking about these 3 words, that God chose you to be a collaborator, a creator, and a cultivator, okay? So this first word, collaborator, that means that you're working directly alongside him. That means that you are going in on a project working directly with someone else, okay? When your teacher gives you a homework assignment and sets you up as a group, you are collaborating together to get this project done as a group, all right? And so God, he chose you as his homework buddy. And I think that's pretty amazing, all right? For God to have chosen me, he knows how terrible of a worker I am. He knows how ungifted and unskilled and insufficient my abilities are. And yet he chose me anyways, all right? I am that kid in the class that no one wants to get partnered up with, and yet God chose me, all right? And that's empowering. And if I do anything good with my life, it's because of the empowerment that I've received from God choosing me. All right, this next part, creator. He created the universe, all right? And he has imbued you, he has given you those gifts and talents to be a creator. I don't know what that looks like. It might be art, it might be music, it might be that you're really good at math, okay? And you can create awesome equations, who knows? But there's incredible ways that you are a creator because God has made you that way, all right? And finally, a cultivator. Cultivation is growing stuff. That's planting a seed and making it grow. This picture that I showed you a little earlier, that I was cultivating stuff there, right? I was cultivating shrubs and some flowers. I was cultivating some things that are growing out of there. I've done gardens in the past where I have cultivated vegetables, and I've literally gotten to eat the fruit of my labor, all right? And it's a good feeling. God has made you to be a cultivator, to plant a seed and watch it grow, whether that's a plant or cultivating someone else's life, planting an idea and getting to see that shape who they are and who they become. These are really powerful ideas. This next part, a quote that really stood out to me that I just love is that God has invited us to be a part of his kingdom. That's what this is all about, the idea of his kingdom that he's invited you to be a part of. And yet, often, we choose not to collaborate. We choose not to create alongside him. We choose not to cultivate through his gifts and talents. We choose to build our own kingdom. And he just made this really stand out to me, that God is creating this kingdom, this physical, tangible, strong, long-lasting kingdom, this castle, all right? And when I choose to do life on my own terms, then I'm creating my own kingdom. And the way that he described that kingdom that I'm making is he said it's like a sandcastle. So God is building up this strong, long-lasting kingdom on the one hand, and when I'm going off on my own, I'm choosing to build a sandcastle. And so stuff like you see in the world right now, where it feels like it's crumbling around us, where it feels like every day we don't know if the tide is coming in to wash us away or not. I think that's some evidence of some sandcastles being built. And we're getting to see the destructive nature, and what's going to be left over is going to be, we're going to get to see those things that were strong, that stood on their own because they were built with God as a collaborator. They were built not as sandcastles, but as strong, firm foundation buildings and castles. All right, really cool stuff. We're gonna finish off with some questions, and I just want you to be thinking about these questions. All right, I got 4 of them for you, and I'm gonna give you a minute to kind of take a look at those, and then take a little bit of time just to kind of think through them and ponder them. And I want you to think through and give some response down below in the comments. Give some thoughts on these 4 questions that I'm going to stick up here in just a little bit, and give your thoughts and ideas about how they apply to your life, and what did you take from the video, and how do you want that to impact this next week and maybe the rest of your life. Take a look, because this was a powerful video. And if you need to go back and watch the video again before you answer these questions, go ahead and do that now. Well, I hope tonight was as encouraging for you as it was for me. It's a blessing for me to be able to put these videos together and put them out there for you guys. And I hope that they're a blessing to you guys. I hope that you're taking something from them, that you're walking away empowered and encouraged, and that you walk away feeling a larger part of our community. Again, I want to challenge you to plug into our community through our Facebook and Instagram posts, through these videos Wednesday and Sundays. That'll be on our website and also on our YouTube page. And then finally, check out Marco Polo. All right, go ahead and download the app. That's MarcoPolo. I'll have a link down in the description. Just go ahead and download that app, and I'll be sending out an invite to anyone who downloads it, because I'd love for you to join our app and join in our video conversation. We're going to go ahead and finish off this evening with a time of prayer, and then right after the prayer, this is part of this video is part of this track, a list of videos. And so immediately after this, there are going to be a few worship videos. And I encourage you to stick around and watch those and engage with them. Maybe even if you're comfortable singing along with them, take some time to plug into the time of worship. And I hope that as these incredible worship leaders lead you in this time, that it's able to center you in a time of connecting with God. So if you'll join me in prayer, we'll go ahead and finish off. Holy Father, thank you for a beautiful day. Thank you for the times like this that we get to hear and learn more about you and connect with you, Lord. And I pray your blessing over that. I pray your blessing over our conversations that might come from this, and the comments and our phone conversations, and maybe even through Marco Polo. And I pray your blessing over our speaker as he shared some good truth with us. And we look forward to the next 2 weeks as we get to dive in more. And I pray your blessing as you empower us with these ideas and share new ways that we can be a part of collaborating and creating and cultivating your kingdom here on earth. It's in your holy name, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, that we pray. Amen. Have a blessed evening.